Amalia, what is K here in this equation?
Restoring torque per unit time.
Restoring torque per unit twist, not time. Per unit twist. Like if you rotate your spring by some, let's say 1 degree, then the restoring torque developed in the spring is K. This is also known as torsional constant of the spring. Okay, Mariam? Next topic, current sensitivity. Current sensitivity. Now let's see what do you mean by current sensitivity. Current sensitivity means the deflection produced in the galvanometer when a unit current passes through it. Let's say you take a galvanometer, you pass 1 ampere of current through the galvanometer, then a deflection produced in the galvanometer is known as current sensitivity. So current sensitivity is deflection per unit current. Deflection per unit current is current sensitivity. Physically, it simply means like this is your pointer. So your pointer is here. I pass 1 ampere current through the galvanometer and this pointer get deflected by, let's say, an angle of 10 degrees. So this is the current sensitivity. Current sensitivity is 10 here. Deflection when 1 unit current passes through the galvanometer is the current sensitivity. We prefer galvanometers having higher value of current sensitivity. So the greater the current sensitivity, greater is the quality of the galvanometer. We can calculate current sensitivity from this equation. Let's name this equation as equation number 6. From equation number 6, we can calculate current sensitivity. What is current sensitivity? Is theta by I. So from 6, you can write theta by I as, if you take, just give me one second. So this is equation number 6. Now I is K theta by NAB. K theta over NAB. I need theta by I. So just cross multiply it here. So you will take NAB to the left hand side. You will take K to the denominator. And that is equal to theta by I now. And this theta by I is known as current sensitivity. So you can say that current sensitivity of the galvanometer is NAB divided by K now. This is the current sensitivity of the galvanometer, NAB by K. Is it clear? Physically, it simply means deflection in the galvanometer when 1 ampere current passes through it. That's current sensitivity. Nazira, Noor, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And we prefer galvanometer having greater current sensitivity. We prefer galvanometer having high current sensitivity. So usually when you construct a galvanometer, your motive is to increase the current sensitivity. So let's see how can we increase the current sensitivity of galvanometer. It's a very general question, like how would you increase the current sensitivity of galvanometer? Current sensitivity of galvanometer. So current sensitivity is, it's NAB over K now. So let's see. What is N here? Nazira, what is N here? Capital N. What is capital N here?
Number of turns.
Number of turns. Good. So your IS is directly proportional to N. Means to increase current sensitivity, you will simply increase the number of turns of the coil. If you can increase the number of turns in the coil, then current sensitivity will increase. So you can say that current sensitivity increase with increase in number of turns. So as you keep on increasing the number of turns in the coil, the current sensitivity keeps on increasing. So IS is directly proportional to N. If you increase N, then IS will increase. But you can't increase number of turns beyond a certain value. Because if you keep on increasing the number of turns in the galvanometer, it will start to become bulky. If you take too many turns, the size will be very large. So remember this thing also. It can't be increased beyond a limit, as it will make galvanometer bulky. So you can't increase current sensitivity beyond a certain limit. It will make this galvanometer very bulky. So IS is proportional to N. That's one thing. The next is 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 proportional to A, area. So to increase current sensitivity, you can increase the area of the coil. But again, the problem is same. If you keep on increasing the area of the coil, then the size of the galvanometer will increase. It will become bulky. So you can say that IS increase with increase in area of coil. So you keep on increasing the area of the coil, the size of the galvanometer IS will increase, current sensitivity will increase, but your galvanometer become very, very bulky. So usually we don't prefer this thing. So the reason is same. The limit is third thing. IS is directly proportional to B. Means it's proportional to the strength of magnetic field. If you keep on increasing the strength of magnetic field, the current sensitivity keep on increasing. And this is something which is preferred. Like in a galvanometer, we try to use very, very strong magnets to generate strong magnetic field. So for strong magnets, what we do is we use soft iron core. Soft iron core generates very, very strong magnetic field. So IS so for strong magnetic field, soft iron core is used. Soft iron core is used. We have discussed core, right? That cylindrical core, this core. This is soft iron core. So what this soft iron core did, this increased the strength of magnetic field. What happened is, let's say if this magnet is producing a magnetic field of 1 Tesla, when this magnetic field enters in the soft iron core, it becomes 1000 Tesla. The soft iron core increased the strength of magnetic field by almost 1000 times. So to increase the strength of magnetic field, we use this soft iron. Fourth, IS is inversely proportional to K. K is torsional constant. So for high sensitivity, we use spring having low torsional constant. For high current sensitivity, we use spring having low torsional constant. So we can say that phosphorus bronze strip can be used. Phosphorus bronze strip is used. We can use a strip of phosphorus and bronze. So a spring made up of phosphorus and bronze have a very low value of torsional constant. If its K is very small, that means current sensitivity would be very high. So usually these are four conceptual questions. These last 2 points are very, very important. That why we use soft iron core? We use soft iron core to generate strong magnetic field. This is again very important, like why we use bronze, phosphorus bronze strip, because it have very low value of torsional constant and it can increase the current sensitivity of galvanometer. Note it down. Next, we will discuss voltage sensitivity. Noted. Can I scroll it further?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, after current sensitivity, the next topic is voltage sensitivity. The next is voltage sensitivity. Now, you know current sensitivity. What is current sensitivity? Current per unit deflection. Using the definition of current sensitivity, can you define voltage sensitivity? Mariam, will you try? Using the definition of current sensitivity, can you define voltage sensitivity, Mariam? No. Okay. Noor, can't unmute. Mariam, you can use chat room then. A 4 to 5 word definition. Huh? Using the definition of current sensitivity, try to define voltage sensitivity, Mariam. What is voltage sensitivity? If you know current sensitivity, then you can easily define, at least define what is voltage sensitivity. Okay, Ahmed. Good, Noor. See, if current sensitivity is deflection per unit current, right? Then voltage sensitivity would be not just deflection, deflection per unit voltage. Deflection per unit voltage, which means when you apply unit voltage across galvanometer, means 1 volt voltage, deflection produced in the galvanometer is known as voltage sensitivity. We represent voltage sensitivity as Vs. Voltage is, so you can write your voltage sensitivity is theta divided by voltage. You can write your voltage as current, theta by I into R. See, what is theta by I? Theta by I is current sensitivity. So you can write this as its current sensitivity divided by resistance. So let's call this as equation number, I call this as equation number 7, and this is equation number 8. Next, what I can do is we can just substitute this 7 in 8. When we substitute 7 in 8, we get voltage sensitivity as it's NBA by K into R. So that's voltage sensitivity, NBA by KR. That's NBA by KR. The voltage sense, this is how we can. There's a difference between current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. Current sensitivity is NBA by K. In voltage sensitivity, we have an additional term which is R. So if you want to increase voltage sensitivity, you can increase B, you can increase A, you can decrease K, just like current sensitivity. But if you increase N, then voltage sensitivity will not increase. If we increase N, then current sensitivity will increase, but not voltage sensitivity. So I'm writing this thing here. On increasing N number of turns, voltage sensitivity doesn't increase. It remains same. So if we increase the number of turns, then voltage sensitivity will not change. See, what's the reason of this statement? We know that the formula of resistance is rho L by A. Resistance is directly proportional to length. So if I increase the number of turns in the coil, that means I'm increasing the length of the coil. On increasing N number of turns of coil, if I say that I'm increasing the number of turns in the coil, that means the length of the coil is increasing. On increasing N, length of coil increases. And if length of coil increases, that means resistance increases. So if you increase the number of turns in the coil, then the length of the coil will increase and resistance will increase. And see, if both N and R increases, then the increment will cancel out each other. If I'm increasing N, N is increasing and R is also increasing, then both the increments will cancel out each other. Hence, they cancel each other contribution. From numerator and denominator. Hence, Vs will not change. In NCRT, this whole explanation is written in one line. NCRT sometimes says increasing current sensitivity. The statement is in NCRT, and in CBSE, you can get a question on this statement like increasing current sensitivity may not increase voltage sensitivity. May not increase voltage sensitivity. Explain. So the explanation is this: if you increase number of turns, then current sensitivity will increase, but due to increase in resistance, voltage sensitivity will remain constant. Note it down, then we will do few questions on it. Ahmed, Mariam, any doubt in
No,
this
sir.
topic?
No, sir.
Nazira, is it clear this voltage sensitivity? So from first Sep, your schools are opening? Wednesday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it would be offline or online again?
Online. Online.
So you won't be going to school even for practicals?
So we
The
will.
schools may open like September 15th.
After September 15th.
Yes, so they may open.
So before vacation in school, you have completed 4 chapters only, na?
Yes, sir.
The fourth is going on like Ampere circuit law.
In school?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
you got, like in your school exams, you got questions on Lorentz force also.
Yes, sir. Our teacher taught a bit of Lorentz force also. Like after that, the first she taught Lorentz force, then she
Okay.
started Ampere circuit law.
Okay. Okay, okay, Mariam. Noted. Can I scroll it further?
Yes, sir.
So these are few important conceptual questions on galvanometer. One-liner questions. Good questions for objectives. Okay. There's one more conceptual question on this concept, and the question is use of soft iron core. So Nazira, can you mention any use of soft iron core? There are 2 uses of soft iron core. Tell at least one use. Why we use soft iron core in galvanometer? Yes, Nazira. We just have discussed at least one use of soft iron. Okay. Amalia, will you try? Use of soft iron core. No. Soft iron core in galvanometer. In galvanometer. Soft iron, yes, Nazira. Soft iron core increase the strength of magnetic field. First use is it increase the strength of magnetic field. Strength of magnetic field. It increased the strength of magnetic field. That's the first use. The second use is it makes the magnetic field radial. What do you mean by radial magnetic field? Does anyone remember the meaning of word radial? Radial means B is perpendicular to M magnetic moment. We must have discussed this during the derivation. Yes, this is a phi is 90-degree radial magnetic field. To make radial field magnet, we use soft iron core. So these are the two important uses of soft iron core. Remember these two. First, it can increase the strength of magnetic field. Second, it can make magnetic field to be radial. These are the two uses of soft iron. Now let's do one numerical on current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. Then we will start ammeter and voltmeter. So the questions on current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity are pretty straightforward. You have all data. Like one question is, the coil of a moving coil galvanometer has an area of 5 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 meters square. So this is the area of the coil. It is suspended in a magnetic field in a magnetic field of 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 Weber per meter square if torsional constant
So is that WB?
yes, Weber per meter square. If torsional constant of suspension fiber is 4 into 10 raised to the power minus 9 Newton meter degree inverse, find current sensitivity. See, this is straight formula based thing. Do it.
So is WB by meter square is like the SI unit?
That's the sign of magnetic field. See, Tesla, you can write your Tesla as Weber per meter square also. Either you write Tesla or you can write Weber per meter square, the same thing. Calculate current sensitivity fast and write your answer in chat. Yeah, if number of turns are not given, just give me 1 second. Number of turns are not given, so you can take it to be 1. Good, Noor. Yes, Abdullah, answer is correct. Yes, Ahmed, it's correct. Mariam, Amalia. Mariam, what's the current sensitivity? Nazira. Good, Mariam. Very good. Nazira and Amalia, you two are left only. Answers. See, this thing is straightforward. Na? Current sensitivity is, it's NBA by K. Just keep on substituting the values. Number of turns is not given, it's 1. Magnetic field is 2 into 10 raised power minus 2. Area is given, it's 5 into 10 raised power minus 2. Good, Nazira. Divided by K, which is 4 into 10 raised power minus 9. So this is 2.5 into 10 raised to the power 5. Now, what is current sensitivity? It's deflection per unit current, right? So its SI unit should be its radian per ampere. Okay, Noor? It's radian per ampere is the current sensitivity. It's always deflection by current. So I should write the unit. Let's write the unit. So SI unit is its deflection per unit current. So deflection is radian. Current is ampere. It's radian per ampere. That's the current sensitivity. For voltage sensitivity, it's radian per volt is the SI unit. So that was about current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. The next thing is, again, some conceptual questions. Like we'll find many conceptual questions for galvanometer. The next conceptual question is, why don't we use galvanometer to measure current? Why don't we use galvanometer to measure current? Why don't we use galvanometer to measure current? We use galvanometer to measure, to detect current, but not to measure current. Reasons. First reason. Current for full scale deflection for galvanometer is very small. Current for full scale deflection means range of galvanometer. Use the range of galvanometer is few milliampere. Let's say it's 1 milliampere. So you can't measure more than milliampere using a galvanometer. Its range is very small. Very small. Usually in milliampere. This range can also be known as current for full scale deflection is small. Current for full scale deflection is small. That's the first reason. It's very, very small thing, which means this is the scale. Your pointer can maximum move from here to here. In a galvanometer, to rotate your pointer from here to here, you need some 10 milliampere of current. That's it. Once you have passed 10 milliampere of current, the knob of the pointer of the galvanometer rotate from the initial position to the final position. You can't measure more than 10 milliampere using a galvanometer. Even if you pass 1 ampere through the galvanometer, like if you pass 100 milliampere through the galvanometer, you can't measure it. Because beyond 10 milliampere, there is nothing. For full scale deflection, you need 10 milliampere only. Once you have passed 10 milliampere, the deflection is maximum. It can't deflect further. You can't measure more than 10 milliampere in a galvanometer. That's the one thing. Its range is very, very small. Second, its resistance is large. Its resistance is large to measure current. So if you try to measure current through a galvanometer, it offers significant error in your circuit. It offers significant error in measurement of current. So these are the two reasons why we don't use galvanometer to measure current. The first thing is current for full scale deflection is very small. It's very, very small. It's milliampere only. Its resistance is very large. Resistance is large to measure current. It can offer significant error in the measurement of current also. So these are the two reasons for the measurement of current. Why we can't measure current using a galvanometer. Then the next question could be, why don't we use galvanometer to measure voltage? We don't measure voltage through a galvanometer. We detect voltage through a galvanometer. The reason is first reason. First reason. The first reason is voltage for full scale deflection is very small. Just like current for full scale deflection, if you apply a voltage in some few millivolt in galvanometer, it will show full scale deflection. The first thing is voltage for full scale deflection which is also known as range of voltmeter, is very small. Usually in millivolt. So you can't measure more than few millivolt using a galvanometer. So current for full scale deflection is represented by Ig. This is current for full scale deflection. Voltage for full scale deflection is represented by Vg. Vg means voltage for full scale deflection. Ig means current for full scale deflection. The second problem is the resistance of galvanometer is small for the measurement of voltage. For voltage measurement, we need devices with huge resistance. The ideal device to measure voltage is a device having infinite resistance. So for measurement of voltage, its resistance is low. For measurement of current, its resistance is large. For current measurement, the ideal device is having zero resistance. For voltage measurement, the ideal device is having infinite resistance. So you can say its resistance is small, comparative is small. It's comparative small to measure voltage. Hence, it offers significant error. Significant error in measurement. So you can find these type of questions like why don't we use voltmeter for options to measure, sorry, why don't we use galvanometer to measure voltage? Four options A, B, C, D. So why don't we use it? We don't use it because of these two reasons. One, range is very small. Second, resistance is small to measure voltage. While for current measurements, the resistance is large. Note it down. Then we will see how to convert a galvanometer into an ammeter. Like if you can't measure current through a galvanometer, that means you need some device to measure current. That is ammeter. We will convert this galvanometer into ammeter. That's the next and the last topic of this chapter. Okay. Okay. The next is, so that's the reason why we don't use galvanometer for the measurement purpose. We use galvanometer just for the sake of detection. If you want to detect whether there is some current or voltage in the circuit, then we use galvanometer. Otherwise, we won't use it. The next is conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. Into ammeter and voltmeter. Let's see how to convert a galvanometer into an ammeter and how to convert a galvanometer into a voltmeter. Let's see first, what is an ammeter? So ammeter is a simple device which is used to measure current. It's a device used to measure current. So the device used to measure current is known as ammeter. We obtained ammeter from a galvanometer only. We do some minor changes in the galvanometer and the resultant device is an ammeter. Like how we convert galvanometer and ammeter. So this is a galvanometer. Current for full scale deflection through the galvanometer is Ig. The maximum current that can pass through the galvanometer is Ig. So through G, we represent resistance of galvanometer. Resistance of galvanometer. The next is Ig. Current for full scale deflection. Current for full scale deflection. So current for full scale deflection is known as Ig. So G is resistance of galvanometer and current for full scale deflection is Ig. Then we have I, which is range of ammeter. We have I, which is range of ammeter. The range of ammeter is I. So to convert this galvanometer into ammeter, what we do is we take a shunt resistance. See, the maximum current that can be measured through galvanometer is Ig. What is Ig? The maximum current that can be measured through a galvanometer is Ig. What is I? It's the maximum current that you want to measure from your ammeter. That's I. So you want to convert this galvanometer, which can maximum measure Ig, to an ammeter, which can measure up to I only. See, I can be very, very large as compared to Ig. Let's say Ig is 10 milliampere. Your I can be 10 ampere. It's more than 1000 times greater than Ig. So usually I is greater than Ig. So to convert this galvanometer into ammeter, what we do is, procedure is very simple. Take your galvanometer, take your shunt resistance, connect this shunt resistance parallel to galvanometer. When you connect your shunt resistance parallel to galvanometer, the resultant device is ammeter. This is an ammeter. This whole device is ammeter. This is ammeter. So to convert galvanometer ammeter, what we do, we put a resistor in parallel with the galvanometer, the resultant devices. So to convert galvanometer into ammeter, we connect a small shunt resistance in parallel.
Sir,
Yes,
so what is the minimum value for this shunt resistance?
that depends upon the range. What's the range of the emitter that you want to make? So we'll calculate a relation. Now let's drive a relation between the shunt resistance required and the range of the emitter. The value of shunt resistance depends upon the range of what range you want to build this emitter. So see, this current I is coming here. When it comes here, there is two paths. So current gets divided into two paths. Let's say current through the galvanometer is Ig. The remaining current I minus Ig passes through the shunt. In the next calculation, we will try to derive a relation between the range of the emitter and the shunt resistance. See, this shunt resistance and galvanometer are connected in parallel. So if two resistors are in parallel, which quantity will remain same? Current will remain same or voltage will remain same? Mariam? Yes, Mariam. If two resistors are connected in parallel, then which quantity will be same? Current is same or voltage is same across both the resistors? Yes, Mariam. Voltage with same, right? So you can say that voltage across S is equal to voltage across G. The voltage across the shunt resistance and the voltage across the galvanometer are equal. What is voltage across S? Say this is shunt resistance, some I minus Ig is passing through it. So you can write that I minus Ig into S is Ig multiplied by G. Voltages are same, na? So voltage is current into resistance, that's it. So S is Ig into G by I minus Ig. So you can say that your shunt resistance is inversely proportional to the range of emitter. So greater the range of the emitter, smaller would be the value of shunt resistance. If you keep on increasing the range, like if you want to build a emitter of range, let's say 10 ampere, 0 to 10 ampere, you use a particular shunt resistance. But if I want to convert this into an emitter of range 0 to 100 ampere, then the value of shunt resistance would be smaller. The next thing is resistance of emitter. Resistance of emitter. See, the resistance of emitter is simply the sum. G and S are in parallel. The resistance of emitter is simply the parallel combination of S and G. So that is simply G into S by G plus S. That's the resistance of emitter. So if you have an ideal emitter, then for an ideal emitter, resistance should be 0. Resistance of an ideal emitter is 0. If you have an ideal emitter, then its resistance is 0. Resistance of an ideal emitter should be 0. Ideal emitter means an emitter which offers no error. So if resistance is 0, then it will not offer any error. Note it down and tell me if you have any doubts. Yes, no. To increase range, we need smaller shunt resistance. Smaller resistance. Noted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mariam, shunt resistance is just a resistance. Basically, if you take something and you connect it at two ends, then we call this as shunted. The common literature word. If you say something is shunted, that means you have connected both the ends. So if you're connecting both the ends of galvanometer through a resistance, then we call it shunt resistance. Shunt simply means that this resistor connect both the ends of the galvanometer. That's it. There's nothing special about this resistor. Okay, after ammeter, the next is voltmeter. Last topic. Voltmeter. So voltmeter is a device used to measure voltage. So device used to measure voltage is voltmeter. See, the rest of the parameters are same. For voltmeter, we use few new parameters. The one is VG, which is voltage for full scale deflection. VG is IG multiplied by G. Voltage for full scale deflection, which is IG. Another is V, which is range of voltmeter. So to connect a galvanometer into an ammeter, we convert a galvanometer into ammeter, we connect a resistor in parallel. But to convert a galvanometer into voltmeter, we connect a resistor in series. So to convert galvanometer into ammeter, we connect a resistor in series. So this is a
The
galvanometer.
voltmeter, right?
Sorry, voltmeter, right? Voltmeter, we connect resistor in series. So this is galvanometer. To convert this into voltmeter, we connect a resistor R in series. This whole system is voltmeter. So the current IG is passing through it. They are in series, so the same current will pass through both of them. This whole system can measure a voltage which is equal to V, range of voltmeter. So galvanometer plus this resistance R can measure voltage equal to V now. We can write this V as V is equal to IG into G plus IG into R. Voltage drop across the galvanometer is Ig into G. The resistance is G. Voltage across the resistor is Ig into R. So Ig into G plus Ig into R. Sorry. Ig into R. You're supposed to calculate a relation between R and. So what we can do is we can take one Ig as common and we have G plus R only. We can divide it by Ig, V by Ig, which is equal to G plus R only. Then we can write R as V by Ig minus G. This is the resistance, V by Ig minus G. So see, R is directly proportional to V. So if you want to increase the range of the voltmeter, then you will increase the value of resistor, the additional resistor that you are connecting. But for ammeter, they were inversely proportional. To increase range, you will decrease the value of shunt resistance, but in voltmeter, you will increase the value. The next is the resistance of ammeter, voltmeter. Resistance of voltmeter is simply the sum of G and R, both are connected in series. If you want to build an ideal voltmeter, then its resistance will be infinite. Resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinity. Is infinite. So that's about voltmeters. Note it down, then we will do some numericals on this concept.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's solve few numericals from NCERT. Solve the first numerical 4.27. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Solve 4.27. Straight formula based thing. Answers 4.27.
Sir, how much is 1 ampere into milliampere?
10 raised for -3, Abdullah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Abdullah. What about the rest? See, this is formula based thing, na? Galvanometer has a resistance of 12 ohm. So G is 12 ohm. And the meter shows full scale deflection for a current of 3 milliampere. So IG is 3 milliampere. How will you convert the meter into a voltmeter of range 0 to 8 volt? So V is 8 volt. IG is 3 ampere. That 3 milliampere means 3 into 10 raised power minus 3 ampere.
18 volt.
Sorry?
18 volts, right? 0 to
Yeah,
18.
yeah. 18. So you need R. What is R? R is this V by IG minus G. So R is V by IG minus G. V by IG minus G. So R is V, which is 18. By IG, this is 3 into 10 raised power minus 3 minus G, which is 12. 3 6 is 18. So R is 6,000 minus 12. So that's 5,988. Amalia is correct. Only, yes, Amalia and Abdullah are correct. Mariam, Nazira, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Note it down. And if he asks you to calculate the resistance of voltmeter, then that is simply G plus R. G is 12, R is 5988. Although he is not asking about this thing, but if someone asks you to calculate the resistance of voltmeter, just add them. Do 4.28 now. Okay, Abdullah. Ahmad, Noor, answers. It's okay. Let's check. 4.28. This is solution of 4.27. 4.28. Galvanometer coil has a resistance of 15 ohm. So G is 15 ohm. Ig is 4 milliampere. It's 4 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 ampere. The range of the emitter is 6 ampere. So shunt resistance is Ig into G by I minus Ig. Ig is 4 into 10 raised power minus 3. G is 15. I is 6. Ig is 0.004. So that's 60 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 divided by it's 6 minus 0.004. So it's 5.996.
So we can take that approximately to be 6, right?
No, don't take approximations here. 996. So it's 6 by 5.996 into 10 raised to power minus 2. So 6 by 5.996 is around 1.00006. This is it. So this is the value shunt resistance which is required. So Ahmed, Noor, Mariam, they all were getting the right answers. Always remember to convert this milliampere into ampere. Okay, so this finished your chapter number 4 also. Now we will start with chapter number 5. Just note it down. There is one homework for you, and that is it's a solved example of NCERT. Example number 4.13. Homework is example number 4.13. Abdullah, we don't have much time for break. Either we start it now or we will start in the next class. So only 30 minutes are left. Yes, Mariam, I'm just sending you the details. I'm sending you the exact details of your question. Basically, that project of yours is based on chapter number 5. So I'm sending you the exact diagram and exact theory. You can send me your writer, but I'm sending you the exact theory. The exact thing. Okay, so let's start this in the next class only. Yeah, Mariam, I'm texting you the answer of your assignment.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop here. I'll continue chapter number 5 from Friday onward. Chapter number 5 is very, very small. It will hardly take 2 lectures. Then we will continue with chapter number 6 and 7. So in the upcoming exams in November, up to chapter number 7 is the syllabus. Up to 8, AC is coming.
Yes, sir.
So we'll finish it most probably by mid of Oct. We'll finish the whole thing. But in that exam, the major weightage would be of syllabus up to chapter number 4. And the toughest question are from chapter number 1 to chapter number 4. After chapter number 4, things are comparatively easier. Okay, so let's stop here. We'll continue the next class.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, sir.
Allah Hafiz. Yeah.
Thank you.